So we had been in ministry, I think, for a year or two, stepped into ministry just before we entered this process.
Coming from the context of being at home with kids and, it was mid-COVID or COVID was just starting and not really knowing where my purpose or value kind of landed.
Some of the questions for us just as a couple is what would it look like to step into ministry together? What will ministry look like? Who can we kind of serve alongside to develop some of those skills, as well as where will we end up?
God spoke to me on a personal level, and through the discernment process really helped me gain the confidence of saying that, no, Payge, you are called and you are valued and you do have a purpose, gaining that confidence and value within myself. And the Roxy Center kind of just unfolded.
So the first year was really helping locally where we were in Ontario with a new venture happening there, as well as exploring other things happening around us as we get some clarity that took on almost another form for the second year, which was moving us towards Montreal and the 180 Church and what it would look like to serve here.
One day we got a phone call saying, pray about Acton. And we said, where the heck is Acton? So we got in the car and we drove here and we met with Lloyd Lindsay, who was the transitional pastor at that time. Really felt God saying, this is your place. Now we need to figure out how to get you here.
We ended up back in Montreal, where we grew up, to join a church here.
It's funny because if you look at our story, it lands in this really great way, and so it can kind of look like this airbrush, really lovely, like, oh, this was easy or simple, and it didn't feel like that from the beginning.
We had no promises of salaries, we had no promises of where we would live. With 3 little kids, that can be kind of scary.
I think often in ministry, answers seem really clear, and next steps seem like they should come fast and really clear if God is calling us to them. And it was just really special in hindsight, but in the moment, felt a little lost.
And I think we often have ideas in our head that aren't exactly where God wants that community to go. So being able to take the time and listen and humble ourselves before the Lord and say, what is it that you want? I ended up being in the director role of the Roxy Center. We've ended up focusing a lot on low-income people, homeless people, as well as food security. We've just started a soup kitchen and partnering with other people within the community to make those things happen.
As we paid attention to the ways that God was working in us, that's really hard work, but so precious that we were given that time.
Even if it is a risk, it's still worth it. Even if the results don't end up being what you want, but they end up bringing you more joy and bringing you more fulfillment in the end.
When you describe a discernment time or discernment space, it could very easily be, seen as a waste of time because of how we see ministry and we see the church. We want to get things done and get to the places. And it is literally the opposite of a waste of time. It is like the best investment. God is so faithful in those spaces when we are so intentional to listen. There is no bad outcome to a discernment time like this, not one.
We, I think as humans, tend to doubt a lot, and for God to just say, no, actually, I am gonna make it happen, that was really surprising.